Good morning, YouTube. This is Tuesday, and I wanted to bring a layout to you. This is basically just stuff that I pulled from my stash. Let's see, I'm just showing you some of the elements that I used. The products were various. The cut and paste My Mind's Eye, that arrow sticker, I did end up using it, so I finished all of the stickers on there. I was so excited about that. And the How I Remember It is just a really old sticker that I've had forever. And there's my crazy picture. Also, the papers, I'll show you the names of them. They were all kind of a gray with a brown undertone. It's kind of an unusual color, so I'm sure you're all familiar with Fifth and Frolic, but the My Mind's Eye, Sweetest Thing, went with it very well. So if you have trouble matching up the Fifth and Frolic paper, then that's one that, the papers from the Sweetest Thing may work for you, because that grayish brown was so unusual. So yeah, I just kind of kept the colors kind of muted on this layout because it's obviously a picture of my feet. And as scrapbookers, we take tons of pictures of our feet wherever we go, but this one actually has a good point. It's not just to indicate the location, but what happened to my foot. And the scraps that you see were just, they were just loose 6x6. I've been trying to pull some in my 6x6 in, and those were just some loose ones I had from, I don't know, seriously, umpteen years ago. Probably 10 years ago I bought those little packs. There's not even a cover on it anymore, so I couldn't tell you honestly. The Memento Lux, I don't know if you can read that there, but it is espresso truffle. Yeah, espresso truffle. I love that color because it's not that brown, but it's not that gray. It's also that transitional in between, and it's a pigment, so it's really dark and opaque, and it's different than any other colors that I have. So, and it's great for stamping words. It's not as crisp, so you have to stamp lightly, but it is dark, so it does stamp. And I do like that aspect, and those pads are really juicy. So adding a little top and bottom border to kind of keep the focus in the center, because I'm going to add a bunch of those arrows pointing to my toe, and some background on the toe. I actually, now that it's been a couple of weeks, I realized that I actually broke. I was in high heels. I'll back up to the story. It's crazy. So I'm in Washington D.C., and the buildings are really old, and understandably. And this building was probably from the mid 1800s, and oddly enough, it was probably 6 or 7 stories, and it was a nightclub, and the nightclub was on the 3rd story. So regardless of if you wanted to go to the bathroom upstairs, you had to go 3 flights. If you wanted to go to the bathroom downstairs, you had to go down 3 flights. Why there wasn't a bathroom in between, I have no idea, but it is what it is. So, as many Americans know, that these old buildings are, the stairwells are very narrow. People used to live in smaller spaces. We weren't as large as we are now, and I actually think maybe we had smaller feet, because these stairs whenever I go into these historic places, which I am a historic junkie, so I love going into really, really old established towns, it seems like, I mean, I have a size 8 foot, which in today's day and time doesn't seem that big for a girl. Like all my girlfriends have a size 8, 8.5, 9. That seems to be the average. Anything above 9 seems to be a little above average. Anything below, say a 7.5 or an 8 seems very petite to me. So maybe back in the day when we weren't as large from our gluttonous activities and lack of exercise, we were smaller people, maybe? I don't know. I know we evolve as necessary, so anyway, point being, they had a very narrow stairwell and a very short step. And I'm in 5-inch heels, and now this was a club, and I did have a drink. That was my very first one. I had not even finished it. My girlfriend Wendy was holding it for me while I went to the bathroom, so I can't blame it on that. Basically, they had little rubber pieces on the bottom of the step and on the inside lip of the step. So the fact that the step itself was not wide enough, okay, sorry, little hiccup on my narration. Anyway, the fact that the step was not wide enough for the length of my foot, when I was going down the stairs, there was a girl that had obviously been drinking, holding the rail coming up the stairs as I was going down. So I politely moved to the left, and when I did, I think the back of the lip on the step, as I was going down, I think the one right above it caught the bottom of my heel and just took me straight down. I mean, I just fell straight forward, and thank goodness I'm fairly quick to react, because that could have been bad. I only went down, a step or two, and I kind of used that girl as my base to hold on to. And so the problem is, I went down so straight forward that it broke my second toe. And at first I thought it only broke my second toe on the left foot, but now in hindsight I think it broke the second toe on my right foot as well. They were both really damaged. They're longer than my first toe, so they were the ones that were sticking out in my open-toed heels. And I immediately knew, oh my gosh, I've hurt my toe on the left, and I guess because it hurt so bad I didn't realize that I had hurt the one on the right. The one on the left turned black, and this is actually after a few days of healing, and it was just, oh my gosh, so painful. It is still large like that. Even though it after, it's been a few weeks, it's actually not, when it was black, it hurt. I mean, it did not hurt. And then once it started turning like purple and getting some color back and turning to flesh, oh my gosh, it hurt like the dickens. I was just dying. So, and it still hurts. And I think I must have broke it in several places, because it's not getting smaller per se. I mean, the swelling has gone down, but it is still quite large comparatively speaking to the toe on the other side, and now it has a crook in it. And the toe on the other side doesn't want to bend either, and it is still having some joint pain, and I bruised it, but I wasn't sure I broke it, and now I'm pretty certain I broke it too, or maybe just fractured that one, but not as bad as the one here in this picture. Oh my gosh. And there's really nothing you can do for a broken toe. So that is my story, and I'm sorry my toe is the focus of this picture, but I wanted to tell the story because I've never really broken anything, and I'm 45, so I feel like I've been really fortunate, and it was just such a strange way to actually break something. It was so unexpected. But I'm sure you don't want to hear about my feet this entire scrapbook process video, but I had to share. It was just so strange. And I still have my girlfriend Wendy asking how my toe is doing, because she was so concerned. And I walked around the entire rest of the night in those shoes and was like, I'll just tough it out. But when I went upstairs to go to the bathroom, as yucky as this sounds, I did take off my heels in order to go up and down the stairs. And you would be amazed how much you use your toes to grip onto things when you walk, in flip-flops, and when you work out, when you go up and down stairs. I am shocked at how much I use my toes, and they're just, I don't know if they'll ever be the same now, those two. Even the one next to that toe on the left side is kind of tight now, so it's very odd when you break something how the after effect is different. So anyway, I'm sure you'd like to hear about the layout. I wasn't able to use I wanted to use the Daily Flash thick, the chipboard that looked like wood grain. It's a little darker, and I wanted to use that in this layout, but I didn't have enough letters. And silly me, I didn't think to go and look at my really old stash of letters. I bet I have something there that would have worked better. So this isn't my favorite thickers that I put on here, and you'll see me, I think I might skip it, but I painstakingly had to glue each one of these because they just weren't sticky at all. And then I didn't like that the word Trippin blended in with that background paper, so I ended up pulling it off, and I used some foam tape to pop it up. Since it ripped the paper when I took it off, I wasn't happy with that either. So putting the foam tape, if you have color on color, it's a really good idea to, just that subtle difference of putting it up on the foam tape made a huge difference in how it looks in the end. It doesn't like blend into the background now, so that may be a tip for you if you're having that struggle. And I wanted the font to match those exclamation marks better, and those are from Studio Calico, and they're wood veneer, and I was trying to use that How I Remember It sticker from eons ago. I don't even know where it's from, in order to use that. And then because it was darker, I used the Studio Calico wood veneer to kind of tie in that dark color. So see, and you see me here, I'm trying to decide if I want to put the Trippin on a different background, and I was like, ew, no, that's too much of a different color of brown, and I didn't like the I guess not checkerboard, the cross hatching on it, I can't think of the word. Anyway, so you see me interviewing several papers here, trying to figure it out, and I finally just said I'm going to pop it up on foam dots and do it that way. So the part you're seeing here, I know everybody was into melting perler beads, and I did that, and I loved the outcome, but I use a variety of sizes in my enamel dots. Like if you look around the wood veneer, I have been doing this thing where anytime I have a circle, I take my enamel dots and I kind of go around that circle with my enamel dots, and you can see that around the orange rather forget this circle, and you can see it around some of the exclamation marks, and I just kind of encircle that with different sizes, but I have all these perler beads I wanted to use, and so I thought, well, I felt like the wood veneer from Dear Lizzie, those big arrows were kind of plain and needed something, and so I pulled out all those perler beads and I added some outlining to do that, and it also ties in with some of those other enamel dots where I'm going around the circles from large to small. It kind of makes your eye follow the circle around to the next element, so I like that. And here I'm wondering if I should put some up on these. The top and the bottom just looked kind of plain to me, but I end up leaving them the way they are. And I really like how these perler beads turned out on the layout. It just added that extra dimension and pop to the page, and I used a bunch, so that's an idea if you want to try that. I mean, when you buy the package, there's like 4 bazillion in there, and when you melt them down, you're like, what am I going to do with all these? Well, there you go. You can do that. And I've got some other ideas now that I've done this. I've come up with some other ideas that I think I'm going to do with perler beads that I've melted. So maybe that will help you use them as well. So I'm not going to give up my enamel dots because I do like the various sizes, but yeah. And then I thought I'd use the black velvet, but then that was going to be too dark. I thought black wasn't going to work with all of this white. And so I went and grabbed Lindsay's Stamp Gang, and it is, what's it called? A Ghostly Gargoyle White. Well, I should have tested it prior to using it because I did not realize that this, I've never actually used it. It's very iridescent. I mean, it is ghostly white. It has a purplish sheen to it in the light, and I'll try to show you that when I do the close-ups because it's so odd. And I've been putting it, anytime I've been doing splatters, I've kind of been doing them on just one side, or instead of like, each corner like most people do, I've been, look, see the sheen there? It's so weird. I mean, in hindsight, I would not have used that color, but it doesn't really show up. You have to look for it in the layout, so I'm fine with it. But I did outline everything with my gel pen in white, all the papers. And see, you can see some more of that little iridescent, ghostly. See, isn't that weird? I mean, it's pretty, but it just didn't go with this layout. So anyway, that's it, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll add still pictures for you at the end. Ta-ta for now. Bye.